Hello everybody and welcome back to the workshop. It has been a fair few days. I have been massively busy with other things. And of course, sometimes some things have to take a back burner for real life rather than restoration and I would say hobby or just playing with toys. It is massively important that I try to get the van to a certain point. And there's been lots of suggestions regarding that snapped bolt and that cam belt tensioner. So let's try and get that sorted. I want to make a bit more progress on this. However, I have to try to get this off the ramp first. And to do that, I need that bolt out or to have given up on it. Now, there were lots of suggestions, and the large suggestion for anyone that doesn't remember, can you see in here? There we go. Right, so that in there is where a bolt has snapped for the cam belt tensioner. And everyone's like, I'll just put a shorter bolt in. Nope. This is the cam belt tensioner bolt. That has snapped off at the threads inside. So shorter bolt, there are no threads inside. So as you can see, it's got a large section which goes through the tensioner. A large section of that hole has no threads. Where the threads begin, it has snapped off. There are no threads inside that hole to put a shorter bolt in. So the only option is to get that out. Quite literally what's happened is that bolt's been doing that because of that tensioner bearing gone, even though it was brand new, and done about 500 miles. And then that has just snapped because there is a little bit, there is movement. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to find something which, I'm going to find a drill bit which hopefully we can make a small hole in that there and try to get an easy out into it. But obviously this chassis leg here is in the way, so it's going to be difficult and you don't want to catch the threads inside there. Yeah, so you might just be able to see that. Anyway, I'm going to try one trick before I go to the shop and get drill bits and then the easy out. But look, you can see that cam belt. What I'm going to try to do first is see if I have got very thin chisel or small screwdriver which I can sharpen up the end with the grinder. Try to punch a little straight line into that and then see if I can get a screwdriver in to turn it, because it's had loads of release agent sprayed into that hole. And then the possibility, because it's not under tension anymore, because the thread is not being pulled against the tension or anything, and there's no head to the bolt, there's a possibility it could come out easily without having to use an easy out, which is a bit like a left-handed drill bit. So let's give that a go before I have to go to the shop and spend money. Showing just how. Come on. No. Right. Okay. Yeah, that's just. There are no threads there. That is gonna have to be drilled out. Yeah. Be a good thing. Yeah. Oh, do not tell me that is. Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Come on. Success! As you can see, that's where it snapped off. I managed to get a small drill bit into the end. That was just enough to get the easy out, which is a bit like a left-handed drill bit. So you go, turn it anti-clockwise and it grips in. And that is now out. Hopefully you'll be able to see. So this is like a left-handed drill bit. So what happens is that goes in a small pilot hole you drill, sits, grips, and comes out. And of course, as that wasn't under massive amounts of tension, it just came right out by hand, which I am very thankful for. So that is another bolt, which is exactly the right same size as the one that came out. And that is, you can't turn it, that's all the way in. You see? Yeah, it's in. So the old one is out. Life, well, no, okay, I'm going to rephrase that. No, life isn't good, but that problem is over. Okie dokie. So, looking back, is it just that bolt that failed and broke? No. So the bearing in the tensioner, this is all fine. That bearing is smooth as silk because it's done about 500 miles. This is all good. What has actually happened is the tensioner spring itself has snapped, which has then allowed movement, because this is not under tension. As that belt is moving, that's just rattling like that as the belt goes past it, and then that snapped the bolt. To be honest, I'm lucky. This happened at, well, it was still running and making a slight noise when I turned it off in my driveway. Had that been happening at 70 miles an hour, I could have had a real problem. Question is, what does that mean for this? I've got the bolt out. We know it was a tensioner and the bolt. Has it killed the engine? Because what happens when the top and the bottom are not kept in time, the valves opening in each cylinder will not be in time with the pistons being in the right place, and the pistons can touch the valves, bend valves, smash pistons, do all sorts of things. We're kind of lucky that we think that we might not have done all of that, although usually it's catastrophic, because it was literally in my driveway idle, and I turned it off when it was still running, just making a small amount of noise, which was probably the tensioner rather than the engine. So now I need to order tensioner, time the engine, put the tensioner on, and then have a look. You see, this wheel and that belt, which is obviously with no tensioner, is completely loose. So the timing marks aren't obvious, and the way to do it by the manual, because you would be changing that belt along with the belt that's on the other side to run the diesel pump, you would time the entire vehicle while the belt was still there, based on a mark which is on the flywheel, which you can see through an inspection hatch on the gearbox. But it's all about the cam timing. I can still do that. I can still rotate the crank to get top dead center for the pistons, but I've got to try to make sure that the cam is done at the same time. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of research, because I can't be going just twisting the base, otherwise I'm going to be hitting pistons when I'm physically rotating the engine to try to find it. And it seems very pointless to have had a stroke of luck based on speed where this happened, and then being able to get that bolt out so easily to do the damage by not doing a little bit of research. Plus the part isn't here, so I have enough time to wait. So I think I'm going to head and try and research that. I'll see you next time.